This is the 100X podcast, and let's set the stage. I like to play games. I like to buy tokens. Like many people in this space, I am both a gamer and a crypto nerd, and I have fully bought into the narrative that blockchain will enhance gaming experiences and that gaming is the perfect testing ground to prove crypto's value to the regular world. We have sat down with and had awesome in-depth conversations with multiple tier one blockchains, platforms, whatever they call themselves, to find out where gaming will actually take place in the future. Whether you're a gamer, a developer, an investor, we all want to know that answer, that truth. So this is the case for Treasure with Jay from their live ops team. Welcome, Jay. So stoked to have you here. Can you break down what it is that you guys are building at Treasure?
Yeah, thanks guys for having me here. So Treasure is a decentralized gaming ecosystem. We're building a lot of really cool stuff. The products that are shipping are definitely something to keep an eye on. If you guys have seen, our Treasure platform hosts a lot of different things, from quests to our marketplace to the hub for our games. There's a lot of cool stuff coming with the Treasure TDK, Treasure Connect, and the Treasure desktop app, where you're going to be able to jump in and play all of our games from within that desktop app rather than just the browser. So yeah, we're building a lot of really cool stuff, and can't wait to share a little bit more today.
Before we dig into everything this episode has to offer, we want to highlight the awesome partners who sponsor this podcast and make it possible for us to work full-time on 100X. They're legends, and we appreciate them for supporting us. Let's talk about Reactor, a proof-of-work blockchain that introduces a brand new economic model, DePIN mining software, a gaming distribution platform, the RKR token, and their game, Minions of Steel, that's proving their thesis by seamlessly integrating proof-of-work token mining with gaming. Through allowing players to mine with their own GPU while playing, not only do they essentially make gaming free, they make software free, and they present an AI-proof income for everyone. If you want to take a glimpse into the future and get there early, explore Reactor's ecosystem at the link below. Everybody is chasing the sweet nectar of played airdrop. Could the beacon potentially be the most fun iteration of the meta thus far? The beacon is a collision of 3 game genres at once. Think dungeon crawler like Hades, world builder like Animal Crossing, and social MMO like RuneScape. Right now, you can complete quests to unlock the token airdrop and whitelist through our New Frontiers quest link in this episode's description. Follow the Beacon on Twitter for deets on the rite of passagement and the game's global launch. And let us know in the comments how many of the bosses you can actually beat. Sweet. Yeah, you guys are essentially it's like a giant ecosystem for gaming in Web3. Can you paint the picture? Actually, the first question I just want to ask, just so people can understand, because I know it's a question that I have, is when I first saw you guys probably a year or so ago, when I was transitioning from paying attention to DeFi to Web3 gaming, crypto gaming, whatever we call it now, you guys, from my perception, were essentially like the gaming arm of Arbitrum, or maybe it like started as the gaming, like a gaming marketplace, evolved to the gaming arm of Arbitrum. But now it feels like you guys are maybe bigger than just being inside of Arbitrum. What does that relationship look like? Like, how are you connected to Arbitrum? Are you separate? Is the marketplace living there, but you guys are building a chain somewhere else? What does that relationship look like?
Yeah, that's a good and loaded question. There's a lot that has gone into the history of Treasure. And Treasure, actually, a funny thing was, it was an NFT loot derivative. So if you're familiar with the loot project, where they had the lines of items, it was a derivative of that. And it has obviously evolved immensely since then to now we are a decentralized gaming publisher, tokened as the decentralized Nintendo. So there's a lot has evolved since then. A lot of new products have shipped with a focus on smalls, on the focus on our Genesis Legions from the very, very early days still. So people are still very committed in the ecosystem. But our vision has obviously changed from just being on Arbitrum, being the #1 gaming ecosystem on Arbitrum, to building on Orbit. So we are building an L2, the Treasure Chain L2. Technically, we still are on Arbitrum. So there is a percentage that will still be going to the Arbitrum DAO. for all of the transactions in the gas that is pushed forward for the Treasure chain. So technically, we are still part of the Arbitrum ecosystem. A lot of different games and ecosystems are also doing this. And now comparable to like Xi, that's like an L3, right? We're going to be building adjacent to Arbitrum 1, Arbitrum Nova, where they are also their own L2s. So does that make a little bit more sense?
Yeah, that does. I mean, yes. Yeah, you guys are inside of Arbitrum's ecosystem, but you can stand on your own two legs, essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think when you're doing as many things as Treasure is doing, it's really easy for maybe someone who is not inside of Treasure to get a little bit lost about identifying exactly what you are. And I think you summarized it really well in that answer of like, hey, we're trying to be like the Nintendo of crypto, maybe. That we are a publisher. We're just, and essentially what a publisher is you guys are making sure rad games get in the hands of the right players. I'm curious I think I want to dive through like maybe as like a developer, why I would choose Treasure as somewhere else, and as a gamer, why I would choose Treasure as opposed to somewhere else, and maybe like as a crypto user also. I think that one is probably the backseat of the three. But I'm curious, like if I am building games, why would I choose to build with Treasure as opposed to Avax or Immutable or Ronin or Xterra or anyone else that's on the list of like trying to accomplish similar goals?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's start with the developer side. I think as you know, Avax, Ronin, everyone has their sweet spot. Everyone is good at their own thing. There's usually one thing that really stands out for each ecosystem. But as part of the Arbitrum and using that Arbitrum technology in orbit, the technology on Arbitrum, the roll up and the speed and gas prices on Arbitrum are arguably one of the best. So you're going to be able to get a really seamless gaming experience with anything that you put on there. That's why a lot of on-chain, that's why DeFi is such a big proponent on Arb, because of those low fees, because of that technology that you're able to work with on Arbitrum. So I definitely think that's a huge reason. But not only that, when you bring a game to what's going to become the Treasure chain soon, you're going to be able to use the Treasure TDK, the Treasure Development Kit. Now, what that includes is there's a ton of things that you can do right now, a lot of things that are going to be coming in the future. There's just so much you can do. But basically, you're going to be able to query a lot of on-chain actions through off-chain gameplay. So what that looks like is a really seamless experience for the gamers to go in and do blockchain actions without ever really interacting with a wallet or like signing anything, beyond what's acceptable, right?
Okay.
Having like permissions and stuff. So there's definitely a lot of permissionless things in there that you can do. But if you bring a game to that Treasure chain again, you're going to be able to have your own infinity chain. So you'll have an L3. You'll be able to use Magic for gas. You'll have the Treasure TDK to make it all seamless. And you just be around a really great family to help you grow and market and do what you can.
Yeah, and speaking on this idea of Treasure being the publisher for a lot of these games, I think we're starting to really see that. I think my timeline on Twitter is really starting to show a lot of these games that are being powered by Treasure. I know we're working with the Beacon right now in their big push with the New Frontiers quest. Smithsonian is also another one that we've seen on a lot. Cote with their season 1 starting off and their leaderboards really kicking off. So you're really starting to see a lot of these games that are building or being powered by Treasure starting to be in people's face and timeline and really showing the power of what they're trying to build. With that idea in mind, how are you guys deciding which games to build? How permissionless is it? Are you guys going ahead and vetting these games that want to work with Treasure? Or is it more like, hey, these are all the tools that you guys have. Anyone who's willing to or who wants to go ahead and build on Treasure has the ability to do so?
That's a good question. I think right now we don't have a ton of games. We have 15 or so in total that we are supporting. So we don't have a ton of games right now. What it's looking like is it's going to be a little bit more personal, a little bit more hands-on, to where these games are going to have custom tailored services and custom tailored processes that we work with them on. So it's heavily vetting them, heavily getting introduced to each other, having an understanding of their goals, their aspirations, and where we can help them out. So it's about finding the right partners and those who want to stay on Treasure Chain rather than, games who could use a grant and then don't really know where they want to end up. We want to make sure that we're the right fit for them for the long term. So that's kind of our focus right now, where we do have a lot of really great games. I can't share anything about that, but we do have a lot of really great games that are coming to Treasure in the near future, in the next couple of months, that we're going to be announcing. And they are definitely long-term partners that are awesome. They have a bright future ahead of them, and yeah, hopefully they're going to be able to push out to a full launch sometime soon.
So with that answer, is the goal to sort of have Treasure be similar to like a curated ecosystem where you guys are deciding like, hey, who can go ahead and be on Treasure Chain, have their own ecosystem like that? Is that sort of the goal?
I think in the future it will be permissionless, but I think as we start and scale, it's going to be a focus on that curated community, and that those games that fit our plans and align the most with us to start.
Okay, that makes sense.
With that, go ahead. With this idea of whether you guys are permissionless or permissioned, I think there's great examples of both, right? Like in the other tier 1 conversation, Ronin is a permissioned ecosystem. They're pretty picky about who builds there. I think Xterio is also permissioned, but then you've got guys like Avax and Immutable that anyone can build there. It's an open ecosystem. And it seems like you guys are parking yourselves maybe in the middle of the two distinctions. I'm curious as far as like, hey, if I'm a developer, just to round out this piece of the conversation, if I'm a developer and I'm choosing like, what is the best move for me as a game studio? I'm looking at a couple of things. A, where the heck are the players? Like there is a small limited number of actual players in crypto gaming. And so, hey, where can I get access to players? That's like one big thing I'm looking at as a developer. Another thing I'm looking at as a developer is, hey, if I don't understand something in this crypto world, where can I get the most support? And then, yeah, I mean, traditional publisher role, like how can I get in front of all of the right audiences at the right time? And I think if you guys are fulfilling those, I'm curious specifically with, you mentioned the Treasure Developer Kit, the TDK. What does that entail? Like, is that designed for maybe Web 2 gaming studios who want, maybe indie studios that want to figure out like, hey, can I plug into this place? Is that designed for people that are already building in Web 3? What is encased in the TDK?
So yeah, that's a good question. So I think it would to start that answer would be so the TDK itself is the development kit that brings the developers that are already building in Web3, those games that already have Web3 components, for them to sync up with our databases and be able to add different things and connect seamlessly with our other games. So it's more so of like an add-on to bring them into the ecosystem and add additional functionality to what they're already building. Now, of course, if a Web2 game or developer studio wants to come to Treasure or come to Web3, then we definitely have the ability to do that. It'll be more so of a TDK with some additional developer support on there, but mostly it is definitely made for like those Web3 developers. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. And now transitioning a little bit more to the next piece, the actual gamer experience. How is Treasure tackling that sort of idea? Everyone talks about onboarding the next million users to crypto, the next billion users to gaming. How is Treasure actually going ahead and making that feasible with you guys' solutions?
Yeah, that's a good question. And one thing that I think we do really well as a parent with like the Beacon or some of our other games too, when they're having these events that they're really in your face, you can really see them and anyone can join in, is there isn't a lot of extracting going on from like the Web3 user base. We're not the games that we have on Treasure aren't looking for the quick buck from an NFT sale or a token drop. What they're really looking to do is get as many people in to try out the game, reward them for what they're doing. And that's what's happening with the Beacon. It's completely free to play. Anyone from any ecosystem with any wallets can jump in, start playing it completely for free, and you could even earn some rewards. So I definitely think our approach is a little bit more like the Web 2, maybe like Web 2 / Web 3 side. We want to expand beyond Web 3. We want our games to expand beyond Web 3. So we want to put them in a position where if, let's say, the Beacon just happens to blow up on TikTok tonight, there's an opportunity for hundreds, thousands of gamers to jump in without any barrier. So I think that's what really positions our games really well for the future. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Go ahead, Matthew.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, on that piece of,
Mm-hmm.
you use the beacon as an example. I said, and wasn't BSing anybody when I said, I think it's probably the most fun, like, play to airdrop experience that I've had thus far.
Yeah,
they're doing
good.
an excellent job. We had Diego on the podcast last week, the CEO over there. And I think, man, they are nailing it. And I mentioned to him too, that Web3 gaming is such a fun place to be, because as a gamer, I'm essentially forced to try genres I wouldn't have traditionally years ago. Like, would not have caught me playing, like Hades, not my genre. Would not have caught me playing a dungeon crawler. Would not have caught me playing a pixelated game. But now I'm having a legitimate blast. Right before this call, I was actually asking Caesar for help, bro. I'm getting rolled on that boss. And I was like, dude, I need you to help me beat this guy. I need some tips. I'm getting my butt kicked. And I'm having a blast. I think that's a good example of a game that could potentially break the barrier of, like, being stuck in Web3. You mentioned that. I think from my perspective, that is something that a lot of games are struggling with in this specific space. They're just, frankly, there are not enough gamers in crypto to actually provide the player base for a game to succeed. Because we might be attracted to, we'll use the beacon as an example. Right now, it's a lot of fun. A ton of people are going to play it. The airdrop, the play to whitelist, all of that's going to conclude. Their game is still fun. But crypto gamers are largely attracted by, like, monetary success. And so, hey, we might have had a lot of fun playing the beacon, but this guy over here is offering me $100 to go play his game. So I'm going to go play that. And then when that one wraps, this guy's offering me $50. I'm going to go play that. And when that one wraps, like, there's so few actual gamers that most of us are bouncing around trying to make a quick buck. And I think you really need that game to blow up on TikTok. Are you guys doing anything, like, specifically to help get outside of Web3 audiences?
Outside of crypto Twitter.
Yeah.
Outside of crypto Twitter, because that's even smaller, right? Even inside of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we're positioning ourselves to be in that place to where we can start reaching out into, like, let's for instance, outside Twitter, outside of crypto Twitter, on Reddit, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram. Shout out to Kyle. He just joined our team. He's ideating around some TikTok and YouTube algorithms, trying to figure his way around the best way to portray some of the fun gameplay moments. He actually just put up 2 videos. We haven't really announced it or anything because it's still in a very much testing phase. But he just put out 2 videos that got around 6,000-7,000 each, that were starting to get some attention from the beacon. And then he just, like, 3D printed a Treasure logo, which was cool to see. But he's just thinking of really creative ways that we can push beyond Web3. And I think he's starting to get, like, an idea of what that might look like. And we're just always thinking of ways that we can position ourselves, like with the desktop app. We want the world to see Treasure, but we want the world to see Treasure how we vision it to be portrayed. So that's, like, the desktop app when the product is fully ready for the full launch, I guess you could say. So there's a lot that goes into it, and we just want to make sure that when we do have those millions of people look at us, they see something really polished, they see something really fun, and that they want to jump in. So we're getting to that point. We're almost there.
Yeah.
I like that. To that point, I do want to build on top of that, because I do believe that this problem of mass adoption, getting to the next million users, is a 2-step thing. One is what we just talked about, getting the attention of those users outside of crypto Twitter, outside of this little Web3 gaming bubble that we have. The second part is actually retaining that attention, not losing them at the first screen. Whenever they open up a website and it asks them, connect your wallet, that turns off 90% of people.
Don't ask me to connect your wallet. Right away. Step 1. Don't do it ever again. Whoever's out there doing it still. It's less of a problem than it was 6 months ago.
And I mean, when you are paying, like, a high dollar for that user acquisition, to lose them so early on in the process, I mean, that's where I feel like a lot of us in this space are really shooting ourselves in the foot with how we've been doing things. So how is Treasure going to tackle that second part of the problem of, like, hey, now we're actually going ahead and going out and looking for those new users, looking for those new gamers. How do you keep them around and make sure you don't lose them along the way?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think it's just going to have to be, and something that I do a lot with my position personally is live ops. So what has kept people around with Helldivers was there was constantly something to do,
Yep.
constantly a new event that people were just like they were eating up. They were all jumping in these campaigns and just going crazy with each other, and that was the magic of live ops in that game. So that's something that I do a lot, and it's something that you can definitely see in the beginning phases on the Treasure platform right now with quests, treasure chests, different things that you can do, new events from our games. So it's just a matter of keeping content lively, keeping our audience engaged, and making sure that everything is polished. Like how I had mentioned, or how I'm going to mention the breakdown of our ecosystem and the Towns reference.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that point Caesar's hitting on of like, okay, so we got them to pay attention to us. How do we keep them paying attention? In my mind, even that piece is actually a two-part experience. One is the experience like genuinely fun and it's not crypto focused because the players are not crypto focused. So is it not just crypto focused and do I want to hang out here? That piece of live ops, I think, dude, I saw a tweet. I think it was Spike put out a tweet the other day, maybe yesterday, about dude, like, are there any games that have just regular updates that I could grind with my community? Anything that like we can play and not get bored 4 days in when we play for 10 hours a day. And that's like a huge problem that crypto gaming has right now, is that everything is a demo. And so, dude, it's really fun for the 7 minutes it takes for me to beat it. And then I'm kind of bored and I move on. And so you guys are solving that piece. You mentioned solving the other pieces already. The third piece there essentially is like, hey, how do you make the user experience just slightly better? Do I not have to sign that signature right away? You mentioned something earlier about, and I want to ask a follow-up question about it. On-chain actions happening during off-chain gameplay. What does that look like specifically? Because I think that's another piece of the puzzle that I want to know. Like, hey, can I make the crypto less difficult for the player? Because if anyone can solve that, that's a huge win.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's going to be like I think a larger announcement with some developer docs that are going to be going out, but basically that all comes from the Treasure TDK, and that's a development kit that goes into each one of our games. Right now, the only one the first people that are using it is Zverse. So if you haven't tried that out yet, definitely go play it. They're utilizing the Treasure TDK, so whenever you jump in, you can connect with Treasure Connect. And so that's the first variation of our wallet. Email, that's all you really need. Email, password, that's all you need. It'll do a custodial wallet for you. It'll generate a custodial wallet for you. And then from there, you'll jump into the gameplay. It's as simple as that. You'll get some free tokens from Z for doing it. And yeah, so if you have some magic, or you can also connect your own wallet to that Treasure Connect. If you have magic in like an ancient permit, what we did recently was the Zverse Harvester event. And so you can go into the game, go and stake your magic into the harvester in game, and then it'll call it from the actual contract on chain. So it's a seamless experience. You jump in the game, go battle in some of the dungeons, go attack some of your friends, talk shit to them in the chats, and then go stake your gems without ever signing another transaction. It's trying to be as seamless as possible, and I think that's where we want to get in the near future, is having that treasure chain and having very seamless interaction with the chain, and having no gas fees, or at least a sponsored gas fee. And yeah, just making it as easy as possible for non-Web3 players to get a hang of it.
That has made me more bullish than anything else that I have heard about Treasure so far. The idea that, dude, we can actually just gamify that I can just play the game and I'm staking my tokens. I can just play the game and I'm sending transactions. Maybe, like we're going to see this tech develop in a way that we see a game like that play out, where I'm sending a clan to go fight someone. And it's really like I'm just sending a transaction somewhere, but it's completely a gamified experience. Yeah. And if you guys pull that off really well, and that's something that like gamers get to experience, to me, that's the prime example of like when I ask that question of, hey, how can I as a gamer, or maybe my friends who are gamers and do not give a rip about crypto, how can I get them to play these games? That's exactly how. that like there is a fun monetary component inside of the game, but I don't have to sign transactions all day long. Like I can just play the dang game. So very bullish on that answer. You've mentioned a couple times, my last question on like the gamer user experience. You've mentioned a couple times this desktop app. I know that not all of the details are released, but what is the vision with that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically, the Treasure platform, as you see it right now, is going to become the desktop app. So rather than living on the browser, having our games live on the browser, most of our games are going to be transferring to that desktop app. So you'll be able to play or jump into Treasure, connect everything and play all of our games within that app. So it'll definitely make it a little bit more seamless rather than going in Google Chrome or going different browsers to optimize your gaming experience, and making sure they all work. For instance, too, it'll be much easier to jump into each one. And one of the things that I wanted to mention, as Treasure as that root network connected by Magic, that's where it's all going to begin. That desktop app. So in the reference to Toontown, where you had this town hub, which would be Bridge World or Treasure in general. And then you would go out into the world and see different experiences, different universes of different shows, characters, and IPs. That's where you would see all of our games. So you'll, for instance, your characters drop down into the whole thing could be gamified, where you're dropped into Bridge World and then you go enter one of the worlds where it's Knights of the Ether, it's Zverse, it's the Beacon, and you go and you play those really unique experiences. And what makes it even more interesting, our recent partnership with Espresso makes the interconnected chains, the chain integration, very seamless. So you'll be able to bounce from L3 on the L3s on Treasure Chain, from the Beacon, Knights of the Ether, and so on, between each other without ever skipping a beat, without noticing a difference, without changing your wallets. You're going to go from game to game, play the experience, have a fun time, and be able to do everything off chain as you see it, and have those reflected on chain as the call to contracts with the Treasure TDK. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Again, see, that's the same, like that's what is making me bullish. This idea of like, can the entire experience be gamified where I don't realize that I'm playing this crypto game. I'm just in a world that I actually want to be in. That I was going to ask you a question earlier, but you just answered it. I saw John Patton, the co-founder of Treasure DAO, tweet this morning. He said, more games on the way to Treasure from other chains. Announcement soon. Treasure and Espresso have also teamed up to create a cross-chain infrastructure built around Magic. Treasure will continue delivering more than everyone, longer than the market can stay irrational. And that his tweet was just about that idea of like, hey, like there is a way bigger future than we realize here. It's not just, I think as the public exploring these games, a lot of times it really does feel, I think this is probably where like that whole drama a couple weeks ago about like, is Web3 gaming dead, came from, is like we have such high expectations because we're emotionally invested in this space. We're financially invested in this space. We just want to see the games actually come to fruition. And a lot of times it's like we're sold a cool idea and then it feels like an empty shell that we're given. And a lot of it, I really believe a lot of it comes down to the fact that nothing is seamless. And so as teams like you guys are solving this seamless problem of like, hey, it can just be an experience that's playable, I think we see this space actually succeed. I have a question. You mentioned there that like Magic is, and John's tweet did too, that Magic is what connects this Toontown world. How does Magic like fit into the whole ecosystem? And not the like, hey, go buy Magic, but part of me as a gamer and part of me as an investor and part of me as a retail crypto user. And so I am paying attention to the way that tokens interact with ecosystems. So I'm curious, like from your guys' perspective, where does Magic plug into the Treasure ecosystem?
Yeah, so you're going to need Magic for everything in the new Treasure chain. Magic is, there's going to be a lot of ways that there are going to be Magic sinks, but one of the most important is definitely Magic being gas for the Treasure chain. So Magic is going to be the gas that you'll pay for the transactions that are not sponsored, or just not free. And yeah, that's what it'll be used for. So it's going to connect all of our games through Magic, even the L3s, and yeah, it's going to be very exciting to see how it expands from there. Right now, there's a lot of use cases, but I definitely think once the Treasure chain comes to fruition at the end of the year, there's going to be a lot of cool ways that we can expand on that. And to your point on, John's post there, he's super bullish as we all are. He's ride or die for Treasure, and that's because he has a complete understanding of the backworks of the development of the technical side and what's coming. He's small dev in the Discord, so he's got a good understanding of how things work. And that's what makes it even more bullish. I mean, the devs behind every product release, every new feature that's going out to the platform that makes it even easier to use, they're geniuses. They're crushing it every single day, building something new to make the process for the internal team, for the gamers, for the games themselves, to make it even easier to build and play on Treasure. So they're crushing it. And every time they bring up some new phrases that I have to Google, but they're crushing it, and they make me more bullish every time they do a presentation.
Nice. I really like that. I have a question here, and this comes from something you mentioned about how magic sort of integrates with everything. I think one of the things that makes me bullish about this space is seeing how the unique takes that a lot of these different ecosystems that we mentioned in this episode so far are how they're approaching the problem of interoperability. We know that that's a big issue. One of the things that's keeping a lot of places in this crypto space segmented and fragmented around, and people aren't able to go from one place to the other without having to jump through hoops and hoping that the bridge that you choose doesn't get you stuck and you lose your funds. And I think it's one of the things that's why I'm so bullish on Avalanche as well, because everything that they're doing with Teleporter and their sub chains and everything like that, and what from the vision that you're selling or that you're telling me about Treasure, it seems like that very similar sort of idea of having these chains sort of interconnected and magic tying them together. With Avalanche as a contrast, whenever somebody builds a subchain with them or a subnet with them, they give them sort of the option of like, hey, you can either use Avalanche as a gas token or just use your whatever token you want to use. What's the idea behind having these games use Treasure as a gas token instead of allowing them to have the option between two? Is it just to create a more coherent sort of experience for the user, or what is that like?
Yeah, I think so. I think it just like to our point earlier, it's about finding those games that are most aligned with the ecosystem and want to continue that use and make sure that that's as seamless as possible. But I definitely imagine that there will be more use cases for them having their own gas, and maybe that is how they're envisioning it. But that's going to be up to the devs to decide. That's definitely not in my realm.
No, yeah,
sure.
definitely. And I mean, at the end of the day, it just makes it bullish to be able to see that a lot of these ecosystems are no longer like, hey, we're just going to build a game and everyone's going to get excited about that game. Oh, wait, another game just popped up. Now we have to figure out how to get from all these assets that we have here all the way over there. Now everyone's trying to make it seamless for the player. And at the end of the day, that's just bullish for us gamers. I mean, we don't want to have to jump through hoops to go from one game to the other. And the fact that these are at the top of the priority for a lot of you guys, that's really awesome. I do want to ask another question here, and this goes to, I mean, on Twitter, you guys are Treasure DAO. And I know you talked a little bit about sort of the history of Treasure and how you guys started, your roots, and where you guys are at today. How does the DAO tie sort of in together? How does the community actually and get involved with Treasure? What say do they have maybe now, and how will it look like in the future?
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a separation between like the Treasure organization and the Treasure DAO. But for anything like very large and meaningful, the Treasure DAO has a say over. Now the Treasure DAO did give way to the Treasure organization and the how that process or how that functions. But after that permission has been established, we operate pretty separately. But when it comes to large positions of Treasure DAO and what the funds are going to be used for. New proposals are always submitted every day. There's governance. So there's new proposals and things that they can jump into. You guys can go follow. There's another Twitter, Treasure Governance. So you guys can go check that out. Every new TIP is in there. You guys can check it out and vote if you have some magic. You can also delegate it to someone else. But you definitely have the voting power, and people are pretty vocal in there for sure.
I only have two more questions before we wrap. One is we've talked a lot about like the infrastructure side. I am feeling, and this is personal, and I'll say right here, just for anyone wondering, you guys did not pay us to come on the show. I specifically invited you because I was very curious to have a conversation about Treasure.
Thank you.
And I am feeling more bullish on Treasure. While you guys are talking, I was just looking at your guys' market cap. I won't say anything that gets you guys in trouble, but I think I am leaving this conversation bullish on Treasure and bullish on Magic. But as a gamer, I want to solidify that piece of the puzzle. If I am a gamer through and through, what are some of the awesome games that are playable right now? I know a lot of them are probably building and they're not in a state that someone can jump in and play. But hey, if I want to like explore, like, okay, you guys got a cool concept, you got cool infrastructure, but are the games good? What games should I go play to prove that?
I like that question because I'm a gamer true at heart. I'm not even I grew up playing on consoles and playing like the AAA games, and nothing would have gotten me into the indie games were not for Web3. And I found great games that I was actually very interested in playing. And from the very beginning, the very first game I ever played was Axie Infinity. And then I found more and more, and I've been playing them ever since. I definitely think there are some absolutely amazing games that are in development right now on Treasure. None of them have fully launched. So that's definitely something to look forward to, and that's what something has, a lot of what you mentioned earlier. There's not a lot of game updates or events, that's because they're getting close to that launch. So they're going to be launching, I believe their beta, the Beacon, for example, towards the end of the year. So after this, the New Frontiers quest, after the phase 2 of the New Frontiers quest, they're going to launch the gameplay demo and launch for the Beacon. So if you guys haven't played that, that's super fun. The New Frontiers quest is ongoing for another week.
Fun playing that.
Yeah, I'm glad you are. It's tough. And
it's kicking, dude, it's beating me up. I am not easily winning, I'll say that.
Yeah, it's tough, but I mean, if you're really that good, then you can potentially be like Corel. No damage runs in the Beacon are very rare and hard to come by. You just have to be insane, and it's a really fun game. The art is beautiful. You definitely go jump in and experience it. Give any feedback to the team as they go forward for a full launch. Knights of the Ether is another fun one. I got their hoodie on right now. It's just like, Slay the Spire, if you've ever played something like that. Mm-hmm. It's a deck building roguelike, and it's a ton of fun. What I really appreciate about Knights of the Ether is they're always so open to try new things, try new creative things. They've done Unreal Engine Fortnite maps. They've done, or they're currently doing one right now too, where it's going to be kind of fun to play. They're doing their play to rip event, which is a very unique take on their play to airdrop, where PvP is going to be coming towards the end of the year, and you're going to be able to rip open those card packs to say, and use them in the PvP. So it's a lot of fun. Knights of the Ether is great. The Beacon, Zverse, if you like those kind of like creature collecting, I guess strategic battling against one another. It's fun. It's definitely very unique, and I think there's just so much that you can do with it, because they're going to be transferring over to, I believe, Unreal, and doing an entire world where you can run around, and it's just more than just the Z's themselves. And then Kuroro Beast, an absolute fan favorite. They're crushing it. They're coming out with their Kuroro Wilds, where you can go and explore the islands. If you were at GDC, you were able to play it. And yeah, it's really cool. There's plenty of other great games like Realm, more on the GameFi side, more like on-chain GameFi side. Smithonia, which is brought everyone by storm. They thought it was really cool, the MOBA what they're coming out with. And yeah, a lot of our games are playable. Most of them are free to play, so you can jump right in. I would just suggest everyone head over to the Treasure platform, go explore it, check out there's some trailers in there, there's some in-game gameplay that you can check out. But yeah, go get your Treasure tag, go play it, and let me know what you think.
Very well said. I think that's the best. I was going to ask you to tease me about the future, and I think that's probably the best teaser I can get is, hey, there's genuinely fun games being built right now. Go try them.
Who's dropping next week? I heard there's some teasers. I'm just kidding. Who did you steal from another chain? I'm just kidding.
Nah.
Can't do that. What are you guys? I'll ask this question. We'll close with this question.
Can't do that.
I think a lot of the times we get lost in the sauce of like, here's these cool things that are being built over the next 12 months. I'm curious. It's Friday right now, as at the time of recording. You're taking the weekend. You can go hang out with the fam. Monday, you guys are back in the virtual office. What is Treasure working on pushing out like right now? Short term, what are you pushing out that people should be excited about?
That's a great question. So, on the marketing side, I would definitely say just getting awareness around the Beacon, Knights of the Ether, what's going on with our games, their recent releases and events that are upcoming. So, yeah, I mean, I think things are going pretty well. A lot of people are playing the games and they're having fun. And we're pushing towards what could be, like traditional gaming launches and, getting traditional gaming audiences on board. On the dev side, there's definitely going to be there's a few things that they're working on, but I think the most important is that Treasure TDK, Treasure Chain, of course, and then the desktop app. So getting that out, the Treasure app, hopefully a desktop and mobile app, because Yuri, our CTO, is definitely bullish on mobile apps, like mobile gaming apps. So if we were able to
I think
get Treasure,
will be huge for Web3 gaming.
That would be fun, and we'd be able to play all of our games through the mobile Treasure mobile gaming app, and that'd be great to see. I mean, I'd be playing all the time. Yeah, and so those are our main focuses right now. There's a lot of moving parts. Our team is crushing it. Our team of 30 something right now. It's not a very large team, but we are absolutely pulling all our weight and filling in where everyone is. If you guys saw my tweet, it's just my 1 year anniversary 2 days ago,
right? Congrats, man.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. And yeah, this team has been great. The working environment has been awesome. Everyone's helping each other out, pushing towards a really cool future for Treasure. And yeah, definitely bullish on the future.
Killing it. Awesome, man. Thank you so much for joining us. I think I am leaving this conversation significantly, not that I wasn't before, but significantly more bullish about Treasure and what you guys are building. I think you very clearly have a place at the table in Web3 gaming. Excited to see you guys dominate. Thank you. If you're listening, go play some of those games that Jay mentioned and tell us what you think about them in the comments. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, everybody.